You're watching Cars.tv.
I want to welcome you to Concorso Italiano. Tom McDowell. I'm the chairman of Concorso Italiano, and we're at Bayonet Black Horse Golf Course in Seaside, California. Every year, we put out announcements. Then we start getting feedback from the people. This year, we're doing celebrations of Fiat X19, and the Fiat group, they went crazy, and it was great fun. We started talking, well, which year? And who made the Fiat? What manufacturer of the Fiats are we going to have out at the event? I don't care if it's Bertone or Dallara or Fiat that made the car. We're going to have them all out there. But then as we release the announcements, we start getting inquiries from Italy, too, about just what are we planning? How can they participate? How can they help? The enthusiasts have a passion that's difficult to measure, but it's always welcome. Some of the things we're celebrating this year, it's primarily anniversaries and a few very notable people. This year we're celebrating the anniversary of the Fiat X19. There were 3 iterations of it with 3 different manufacturers. We're celebrating the Maserati Merit. We're celebrating the Maserati Quattroporte. It's been 60 years of the Quattroporte. It was the first sports car that was also a sedan. It's one of the few cars that we're celebrating that I've had a chance to drive, and it was a terrific experience, and frankly, it's the next car I'm buying. We're also celebrating, how would I have missed this? Lamborghini's 60th anniversary. I don't know how that slipped the list here. 60 years, and Lamborghini's come along very nicely, and it was only 60 years ago that they were making tractors, and what a pivot they've made, and now they make some of the finest cars in the world. We're also celebrating something that's Italian, sort of, but it's really French, the Citroën SM. Great car with the hydraulics in these cars. It's ingenious hydraulics, but at the same time, it's temperamental. But the connection to Italy is that Citroën SMs have a Maserati engine in them. The last celebration that we're having is the Lancia Appia. The model was around for over 10 years, and they went through some significant changes over the years. So I'm really excited to see. I think the first one was built and released or announced in 1953. So here we are 70 years later. Really exciting as people come back every year, and most of the people have been coming for at least 20 years. And what's really gratifying is when we get somebody who's new and they've dipped their toe in the water with their first Italian car purchase, and then they tell me all the plans they're making for the next year. And that's how we build the event. What we'd like to do is make this event fun, kind of lightweight. We don't want to make it too competitive in terms of judging. We keep it very relaxed, and as long as it's fun, it's more like a festival. We just want them to leave the event with a very good feeling, thinking that next year it's going to be great as well.
Michael Kearns, car owner, 1967 Bizzarrini, Strada, and we're in Seaside, California, outside of Monterey. I work with a mechanic on my other cars, and he mentioned to me, hey, if you ever want to get one of these Bizzarrinis, I know of one that just came available, and if you want it, you got to buy it today. The company only made 130, and they were only in business a few years. It was a small company, and so it's very hard to find a good one. And then they also made a lot of fake ones, I've heard, and those are out there too. So you have to have a marquee person who can assist you in finding a real car. I was petrified to drive it. I thought, this thing is so low, I'm gonna pull the engine off, I'm gonna wreck the radiator, this is crazy. And I just kept going a little bit further, a little bit slower, taking it easy. I call up Maurice, the mechanic, I said, am I okay doing it this way? Yeah, you're fine. Am I okay doing it this way? Yeah, you're fine. You know, and you just kind of gradually get to know the car, and you kind of ease yourself into it, and pretty soon, I'm driving it to work. Like maybe once or twice a week. I'm going to Home Depot in it. I'm buying faucets. It's got a nice trunk, you know, no wood. And you gradually start getting to know the car. You don't drive at 85 miles an hour like, oh my God, it's wiggling. Sometimes guys just driving 25 miles an hour, and you never know. But I think it's important to use a car like this. I know there's a lot of collectors who never drive their cars and they're perfect. I like a little imperfection just to have fun with it. And driving it to work, you meet all kinds of people on the road. You know, hey, pull over, let me talk to you about it. It's fantastic. This car being so original and never restored, it really has never been fully cleaned properly. It spent 2 weeks at a detail shop getting dry ice cleaning done to it on the engine and the undercarriage, and then they spent about another week on just the paint, giving it a nice buff. After about 2 weeks there, it looks like this now. It was pretty dirty before. There's not much on these. You know, it's not like you buying an old Ferrari where there's great information, great historical documentation available. So it is a little hard. So these old guys behind me are the ones with all the history knowledge. Like, oh, that's Ron's car, and you know, he went over there, he drove it off the hill. Like, really, what year was that? 1972. You know, when they're gone, all the history's gone. So I'm trying to gather as much as possible so I can write it down for the next guy who gets this car. How would you meet these people otherwise? I would never know these guys at my hometown. You know, they don't live there. They live all over the United States, and they come here because they love these cars. Well, I started coming here maybe 20 years ago, just as a spectator, getting to know cars. I was always into cars. Maybe I had like a Morris Minor at that time. I didn't show it because it was a dumpy car, but I really loved old cars. My dad had old cars, and so I started with the Morris Minor, and then from there I bought an old Maserati, then I got an old Ferrari, and then I started getting them fixed up, maybe restoring one, started coming here with them, and it was a lot of fun. Every year you go, you learn more things, you meet more people, and it's just fantastic. It's so much fun.